Hello there, it's Jay here from Jay's Vintage Junk, and today we've got a quick update on the RETRA little AM/FM tube, valve. We're in the UK here, so it's valve, not tube. Valve radio. First of all, apologies for not making a video recently. I don't know if I mentioned in my last video I'd hurt my shoulder, and it turned out it's a little bit more serious than I first thought. I thought I just either pulled a muscle or trapped a nerve in my shoulder. My shoulder isn't good anyway. It's basically knackered. It's many years of working in theatre, working on shows, working, doing get-ins and get-outs. It takes its toll, and basically my shoulder's shot. And the doctor has basically told me, for the moment, don't lift anything heavier than a bag of sugar with this arm, or else I may do pretty much irreparable damage to the to my shoulder. It's not in a good way, so I've been having to be careful what I could do. In fact, even climbing up here into the workshop, I pulled my shoulder the other day and I was in agony for quite some time. But it's feeling a little bit better, and I did come up, and I must admit, unfortunately I didn't record it, but I have been having a tinker with the old radio, and I've fixed it. First thing I did, I tested all the valves in it. I got the old valve tester out and went through all the valves, and unbelievably that ECL82 output valve is absolutely fine. It looks horrifically ghoulishly used, but it's still showing good on both the triode and the pentode sections, so there's got no inter-electrode shorts on it, so I can't see any reason whatsoever to replace it. So I went through all the rest of the valves in it, and they all tested good. Some of them obviously have had a very hard life, but they all tested good on the tester. So I ruled the valves out, and I turned my attention to what I thought the problem possibly was, which was the one of the IF cans there, that it may have a silver microcapacitor in there that was starting to degrade. As they do so more in America than over here. It's actually very rare in the UK. I've perhaps only come across one or two IF cans that have had an iffy silver microcapacitor in them. It's far more common in the US. But I thought I'd check it anyway, and actually neither of these have silver microcapacitors in them. Each one has a ceramic capacitor, and they both have two 200 PF foil capacitors, and the foil capacitors are of a type, I don't think I've got any kicking around to show you one of them, or at least this type of ceramic capacitor. Just bear with me, see if I've got one in this box of old caps. It's probably the luck that the one time I haven't got any in here. Yes, we do. This is a axial. This is a radial version, not an axial version. But you can see these type of capacitors where it's plastic and foil all wrapped up really tightly like that. And it used a couple of 200 picofarad versions of them capacitors in the IF cans, and I've never ever had one of them fail. Not in a radio anyway. In fact, I don't think I've ever had one of them fail. So I ruled out the IF cans at that stage. But what did concern me was the condition of the valve holder for the ECL82. I wasn't like I think it was Steve 405 pointed out. It worked fine. It didn't seem to have the crackling issue when on PU, which you'd expect if it was the ECL82 causing problems. Even with the in the PU input, which is for a turntable or a tape player, whatever you want, it should still crackle when I tapped about like this, and it didn't. But the valve holder, I just couldn't trust it. It was looking literally that crumbly and crusty, and well, it was, because as soon as I tried to desolder it, it just it crumbled apart. So it was very basically burnt. If you look, it just crumbles to bits. The Paxlin it's made out of has just been baked over the years. So I replaced the valve holder for the output valve with one of these. I've got a few of these in stock. I think they're from, probably date from the very late 1960s and 1970s, and they're like a thermoset plastic. They're much nicer than them little cheap Paxilin PCB mount holders. I think these were possibly designed for use in the early colour TVs and stuff like that. But I've got a few. I've got a few left. Yeah, I've got a small bag of them left, probably 10 or so. So I popped one of them in there, and basically there's no wobble. The valve is now really firm, really secure, so it's not going to cause a problem in the future. Which if I'd left it with that old Paxilin valve holder in there, you can absolutely be certain that if it hadn't failed now, it was going to fail sooner or later. But anyway, I powered it up after that, and we still had the crackle. And I tried everything. I tried tapping round various places. So I just thought, just on the off chance, I weren't suspecting the ECL82 at this point, and I weren't suspecting the ECC85 there, because the ECC85 there, I don't think is used on either medium wave or long wave. And it was doing it on FM, medium wave and long wave, so it was obviously something that was related to all three wave bands. And that leaves two valves left. We've got a EBF89, which is basically, I think it's a double diode triode, which is that valve there. And now that has been replaced in the past, it's not the original. And that tested absolutely fine in the valve tester. The other valve we had was an ECH81. So I thought, I'll go down into the stores and I'll see what I've got. Now, I had an ECH81, but I didn't have any EBF89s, or at least I couldn't find any tested ones. So I brought an ECH81 up there, and I popped that in, and if we just give it a play now. I've just got it set on FM. I'll try and tune it to something where we're not going to get the copyright police screaming down our necks, so that's probably one of the sports channels or Radio 4 or something like that. Let it warm up. You can hear it.
A purpose when I was kind of going into the studio playing this music, so just like,
as you can hear, it's playing quite nicely now, but if I ever
produce a project, can fall into the trap of sort of not
tap
having
around,
aim or story or concept. So like,
we've got absolutely no crackles or pops or anything out of that now.
I knew it's what I wanted to do with this album.
Let's try it on medium wave. Let's tune to something.
And they clearly know what they're doing. There's a canvas for those players to go and play.
If you can hear there, that sounds nice and clear. And again,
Science 1-0 defeat at Old Trafford. United boss Jose Mourinho accepted
no crackling at all.
Champions. I won 8 titles.
Long wave. Again. Long wave's actually quite lively for here on this. Usually only pick Radio 4 up. I think might be that there. There.
An renowned teacher. Approach to teaching music has spread throughout.
But as you can see, absolutely no crackles at all. And just to show it is definitely the valve that was at fault, we'll just switch it off. We've got the old EI branded valve that we took out here, and we will put that in. Let's just remove the new valve. And it's a, this is actually a foreign valve as well. It's a Solos. I think these are made in Russia. So they weren't a top quality valve, but that one tests absolutely brand new. It probably is a pull. Actually, I don't know whether it's a new old stock or a pull. It's in one of my white boxes, so it's obviously gone through my testing process. But yeah, I think it's a used one. But like I say, it tests absolutely spot on, 100% that valve. I will put the old EI one that we took out of this radio back in. There we go, and we'll power back up. As you can notice, I've got the light working on it as well. It was just a bad connection on the dial bulb. I'll have to let it warm back up again. So as you can hear, it's still playing nicely, but if I give it a medium wave. And on FM. So as you can see, and that valve, like I said, when we actually put it in the valve tester, tested got fine. I wouldn't say it tested 100%, but it tested as a good valve. And I even, something I usually do when I'm testing valves is when they're going through like the short test, I usually, as the valve's actually in the tester, like that, I just usually give them a gentle tap like that, just to say, usually, because that shows up any issues like that. But on this one, no. So like I said, that valve test's absolutely fine, but that has proved to be the problem. As you can see with that Solus, like I said, and Solus are not exactly a top premium brand valve, but it's probably fitting for a radio like this, being Eastern European, and I've used an Eastern European valve to replace it. But as you can see, completely gone. And that's probably about it for this radio. I was going to change the mains lead on it and do a load of other bits of cosmetics to it, but I'm not really going to bother, I don't think. I think I'm literally going to just put this back in its cabinet now, and I may have it in my office for a little while, playing as my office radio. I do like to rotate the radios I have in my office, but I am sort of limited to the size of radio I can actually have in there, because my office is absolutely tiny. It's basically not much more room than for a computer and on a desk and a bookcase full of books. But I usually have a radio around this size in there, playing Radio 4 or Radio 2, a classic FM or something while I'm working in there. So yeah, I think this radio is going to take its turn in my office and play for a little while in there. Because I'm sorry it didn't turn into a more of an in-depth repair video on this, but with the way I'm feeling at the moment, lifting things, especially this radio is actually quite heavy, I am finding quite tricky. So I'm going to do my next project. Actually, I'm going to work on is for one of my viewers. He spotted this when I was doing a video about alternative controllers for Master Systems a couple of videos back, and he said he used to have one of these as his childhood controller and would love another one again. So I said I'd refurb this for him and get it nice and working for him. The only thing is that he doesn't have a retro computer. He does all his game playing with emulation. So as well as refurbishing this little joystick, we're going to convert it to USB so he can use it on his computer with his emulation. So hopefully that's going to be in the next video. It may be a 1 or 2 parter, but we will go at refurbishing this joystick and then looking at converting it to work as a USB controller. Anyway, I'm going to leave it there for now. I hope you enjoyed that little update. So hopefully I won't leave it too long for the next one. Like I said, hopefully I'm feeling a little bit better, but I must definitely not overdo it at the moment. If I pull my shoulder again, like I said, the doctor has said I will have some serious issues to contend with. Anyway, I'd say I'm going to leave it there for now. Thanks for watching, and goodbye.